As you probably know by now, how well your bike fits you is the #1 most important aspect when it comes to determining whether you'll enjoy riding your bike or not. Bikes are like suits. It needs to fit well. It doesn't matter how expensive it is, and if it doesn't fit well, you're not going to enjoy using it. Or even centimeters or sometimes millimeters can make the difference between having a ton of fun on your bike and being in pain on your bike. And one very important aspect for bike fit is how wide your handlebars are and whether those fit you or not, and whether you have the right size for the type of riding that you're doing. In this episode of 3 Minute Thursday, here's how to find your ideal handlebar width in 180 seconds or less. Thanks to Wobbly Cycles for sponsoring 3 Minute Thursday. To check out more videos on how you can get the most fun out of your bike in 180 seconds or less, check out our 3 Minute Thursday video series by clicking the card above or by sticking around until the end of the video, and check out Wobbly Cycles, linked in the description, for bikes that you can customize every single little aspect of to make it your ideal fitting bike. The conventional method that is a good place to start off in finding your ideal handlebar width is to measure your shoulder width. So there's 2 bones that stick out of your shoulders. I don't know if you can see it, but measure from the end of this bone to the end of that same bone on the other shoulder. Take whatever that measurement is, and that will supposedly be your ideal handlebar width, or at the very least, it is a great place to start when shopping for handlebars. Risers and flat bars are measured from the ends of the bars, and drop bars are typically measured between the centers of the bends. It's just a rule of thumb that'll get you in the ballpark of finding a bar that is right for you. Getting handlebars that are wider than your shoulders can be a lot more comfortable for a lot of people. It can make it easier to breathe since your rib cage has more area to expand since your elbows aren't tucked in super close, and wider bars give you more leverage for climbing so you can put the power down through the pedals. Also, for us Fixie riders, having that extra leverage can make it easier to stop since it gives you more control over your bike. Wider handlebars also give you more control over your bike when you're riding off-road, and wider handlebars give you more clearance for your hands when you have a loaded up front rack or front basket. My shoulders are 44 centimeters wide, but my drop bars, and these are my favorite drop bars that I've ever ridden, measure out to 48 centimeters wide. And these are the most comfortable drop bars that I've ever used, despite me breaking the rule. But there is a such thing as having bars that are too wide. For example, the bars that I have on my bike right now are Nitto Bull Moose bars, completely uncut, super wide, and they measure out to 710 millimeters wide. Don't get me wrong, riding wide bars like this are a ton of fun because of how much control and leverage they give over your bike, but they do hurt my wrists because they kind of kink them at a weird angle because of how wide they are when I ride anything over 30 miles. And when you start getting to the ridiculously wide territory, this right here is by far the worst part of riding wide bars. Although most people would find riding handlebars that are narrower than your shoulder width to be uncomfortable, there are still some benefits and it may be right for you. If you're a super competitive cyclist and just want to go as fast as possible, comfort be damned, narrower bars than your shoulders will allow you to be more aerodynamic. It also makes it easier to split lanes when you're riding in traffic and fit your bike in tight spaces. Because they're narrower, they have less material, they will be lighter. But narrow bars aren't exactly great for climbing since they can squeeze you, they can squeeze your ribcage, make it hard to breathe, and they don't give you a ton of leverage over your bike, which also means that they don't give you as much control off-road. Getting handlebars that are just as wide as your shoulders is a nice middle ground starting point that will be comfortable and aerodynamic for most people. And Fixie famous shoutouts to Brandon Black, David K, Jude DeZera, Julian Corona, Ryan Witt, Scott Palangi, and Zane Kolnik for helping to make these videos possible through the support on Patreon. And remember that life is shorter. And remember, life is short, but don't make it shorter, so ride your bike every day to be reasonably dangerous.